fans, welcome back to The Escape with Nick and Adam. My name is Nick.
It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me. And I'm Batman.
I bet McFarlane would still make a figure of you, so here's the hoping.
Oh, yeah.
And we welcome back friend of the show, Jerry.
Love the show, guys. Big fan, big fan.
Thank you. So we're gonna talk some Ahsoka. But you know what? Let's not go to the bad stuff yet. We were having a fun conversation about. So Adam's got this premise that since I train jujitsu, and I'm saying I train because I know what happened last night while I was training.
He even uses the word train. You know?
Well, that's the thing, because I want to make sure that I say I train because I don't want people to think I know jujitsu. So that's like a big distinction. I was like, I train really hard, but it still doesn't always end up being good.
Well, guys, I don't know.
Here's the thing: you can. I'm sorry, Jerry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. There's a bit of a delay. Go ahead, Ian.
Okay, I apologize. I was just say you can train and you can say the word train and you can throw out all the kind of like excuses that you want. Plenty of people were fooled by Clark Kent and his glasses. All right, that's all I'm saying.
Yes, that's
okay.
And Jerry, you were saying you train some martial arts as well.
Yeah, I did Krav Maga.
So now I'm on the line with Batman. See?
Yeah. You got Batman and Robin. Who knew?
I did Krav Maga for a couple of years, and Nick, I don't know if this happened with you. After about the first year, I wasn't that good. I never was that good. But I would look at anybody, the toughest son of a gun walking down the street, and my immediate self-talk was, I could take him.
I could take him.
Anybody. No, I couldn't.
Right. There is a little bit of the like, hey, if things happen to go down and I have to choke someone, be like, where's the closest?
Yeah. Yep. And I don't know, the instructor, the owner, he's a brilliant guy, a guy named Pavel Chikovas. He's a gifted athlete. There's no other way to put it. And I don't know if he did it to every class, but he did it to my class often. He'd stop us and go, okay, let's say I come at you and you get lucky and throw a punch. What do you do next? And he would say, and people say, you do the elbow, it's your crotch. And he said, no, run. Get out of here. He always said it to my class. I don't know what he was saying.
It's not eye contact, just general glancing in my direction. But that is the number one thing that people say. It's like, oh, what do I train? He's like, number one thing you train your legs so that you can run away. But
but I have to say that those years of training, I always, wherever I go, I look for an exit. I kind of just mentally, okay, I could look out that way or whatever. Then
I've done that like my entire life. So I've always been where's the nearest exit? And just in case I don't want to be here. So.
Well, then I would be a news item because they'd like, gunman, run. I'd get 3 blocks away and go, wife. Ooh.
Ooh, wait.
Dang
it. Yeah.
Anyway.
So
running like Forrest Gump.
So Adam and I are going to go watch you train. Is that what we're going to do?
If you want to, that's fine. We can totally set that up. But let me do this real quick. But there was a bit of breaking news just in the last hour or so. Barry, I got bad news. They pushed back Dune 2.
Oh, because of the strike?
Yes.
Oh, man. I was looking forward to that one. November.
Nate sent me the thing just before the show, and I was just like, you could ask Adam because we got on this a little after 7, and I was cussing up such a storm. I was like, those mother. What?
Yeah, he was upset.
I think I flipped the table, but it was like, I'm like, I'm so pissed because that was genuinely like the only movie I was looking forward to this year.
There's not much out there
into next year. I mean, Adam, we'll talk about the movie if we did go to, but I was just like, there ain't nothing. Like that was me top of the list, and there's a reason that one got pushed back because I think the writers, I think they're slowly running out of punches to throw, and their last haymaker was pushing back movies, and that's what.
Yeah, but if we think there's not much out there now, everybody's been off production for what, 4 months now?
Yeah,
we got a desert coming up.
Well, we've got the new lovely Amber Heard movie Aquaman 2 coming.
Right.
Well, that I heard another show was talking about that. They're like, that's probably gonna get pushed back too because I think that one they're just gonna push into oblivion and just hope no one notices that they never.
Yeah, I mean,
that's crazy. What went wrong? You know what I mean? Not her and her life. I don't mean that. But the first movie was $1 billion. How hard is it? They did $1 billion. It was a huge success from the get go. I get it. They have Momoa with his shirt off, and everybody loved it. But there's more to it than that. It was still a good movie. How can you not make a good part 2?
I know. Seems like all the pieces were there. Should be easy to do.
I'm not saying part 2 has to do $1 billion. I'm just saying seems like it's an easy win.
Yeah.
But Wonder Woman 2 would have been an easy win, and it wasn't a win at all.
Did you guys hear that rumor that floated out about another Wonder Woman? I was kind of like, yeah, okay, and then another rumor.
Well, and it's hard to dismiss. It's hard to dismiss DC rumors because they have next to no idea what the hell they're doing, even with James Gunn, because you keep hearing like, is James talking to Henry? Like, there's rumors of that keep going back and forth. I was like, oh my gosh, like, can we just put the fork in Snyderverse and freaking move on with our lives, please?
Right.
And I don't know. I mean, the last 15 years, we were so lucky growing up in the MCU that from the first Captain America, the first Iron Man movies. I mean, to see it all the way through, that was a ride like I'll never have again in my life.
I'll say, and you had all the nerds sitting there saying, "Told you."
Yeah. Yep.
All the comic book nerds going, "We told you, you bunch of jerks."
I can't imagine being in that meeting where Marvel figured it all out and said, "Look, here's the next 10 years." That would be crazy. But DC, I went and saw. I know this isn't the topic, Nick, so get me on if you want. I went and saw the Flash movie. I liked it. Tuesday, I went and saw Blue Beetle. I didn't know anything about it. It was entertaining. It kind of had it was like Marvel Light. It had a little humor. It was definitely less.
It deserved better. It did.
Yeah.
It deserved better. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, for me
wasn't that good either though.
Yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't great. But I had free popcorn and a $5 ticket. It was worth $5 ticket. And especially because I went in knowing nothing about the Blue Beetle. So
I, on the other hand, went in knowing too much about the Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
Which is also the curse of comic book fans.
And I was like, I was in there like this. Not Ted Cord.
Where's Ted Cord?
I usually
want Ted Cord.
I go to those things with my brother, and he knows all.
T'Chaka?
Yeah, T'Chaka, and he's constantly going. See, the original was the Cord.
You see the problem here is
see that suit there? That was his original suit. So, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, T'Chaka. I couldn't figure that out.
So yeah, so I know I am. We say that every movie. I am unencumbered, untethered by any of that stuff. It's
the ignorant. It's the ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is
type of thing. You're like, I don't know what's wrong here, but I still love it.
Exactly. So, but it's fun, and I don't know. Again, to get me back on track here, Nick. This isn't any superhero movie, but I like the Kenneth Branagh reimagining kind of things of the Agatha Christie stuff, Death on the Nile, and
I know my mother-in-law was Oh, I want to go see that. I keep seeing the.
So you mean old people? Old people like it.
No, because. But here's the thing. As soon as she said that, I was like, oh, the one where he's got the big mustache. I was like, that looks good because I love period pieces.
Yeah, the Murder on the Orient Express. It was okay. Stylistically, it was really good, but Death on the Nile, I thought it was well acted and it was good. And they got another one coming out. Is what was my point? A Haunting in Venice, which
I think I saw that preview.
Yeah, much more action packed and still a Hercule Poirot movie. He's the detective with a big mustache. But anyway, now Dune. So I was kind of looking forward to that in September and Dune in November. Do they have a date for Dune?
March.
All right. Well, how they doing on the writer strike? Is it getting close to being over?
Well, I think so. There was a counter offer from the studios to actual, somewhat of an actual resolution, and they released the details, and they released the current details of their writer's contract, and then what their counter offer would be. And I was talking to Adam about this. I was like, Jerry, do you know how much the average writer makes a week doing that gig?
I have no idea.
Just spit a number.
I'll say $4,000 a week.
9,000 currently.
I mean, that's pretty good, right?
That's pretty. I mean, mind you, and that's kind of whatever, and that's the reason that the studios released to be like, hey, average people, it's and so, but mind you, that's contract work. It's not 52 weeks, the whole deal. So, but still,
finish that shit early and milk it.
But still, you work 2 months, you're doing just fine. And what they would make in 2 months is basically what I would make in a year. So you're kind of losing me here, guys.
Yeah. The sport is going to be going.
Well, and I think last time I compared it to like anytime there's a strike in like professional sports, I'm like, I'm not. You're not making me pick a side because you're making me pick between the billionaires and the millionaires.
Yes.
I don't want that. I'm like, that does nothing to me. You know what I want? Just flip and entertain me. That's what I need people to do.
Right. I don't know, to your sports point, I don't know much about sports, but I remember this fella. He was a baseball player years and years ago, whoever, and he got injured like the first game, and he sat on the bench for the rest of the season and made $450,000.
Yeah.
Okay, you could injure me. I would volunteer to be injured for $450,000.
I think the current roster for like a NBA team is like 12, and like the 12th guy who never plays unless it's a blowout, like either way, just sits there and he probably makes like $5 to $10 million a year. It's just like like, and I understand it takes the talent to get to that point.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's like, shut up. Like the complaining I want to hear out of you had better be minimal.
Yeah, I know. And I always, coming from education like I did, I was selling chocolate to buy paper. That's not right. That ain't right.
Yeah.
But that's our society. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I think since the studios did that, I think yesterday or the day before, I think this is the actors and writers counterpunching and saying, "Oh yeah, well, bam, there's the rest of your entertainment for the year."
Yeah. Well,
that was literally knocked it out of the year.
That was an interesting move because, quite frankly, I think everybody was on the writer side. All of those poor writers and that mean conglomerate. 9,000 a week is pretty good.
Well, and that's the thing that they always go, well, Zaslav makes this. It's like, look, guys, like I understand there's winners and losers in every situation here.
Mm-hmm.
There's the haves and the have-nots, but it's too much where
but as a workforce, they have to address the AI situation because the AI situation is they've even threatened it that they'd rather just have AI write something. Yeah. The writing, as a result of having too many cooks in the kitchen for comic book movies, is bad enough.
Mm-hmm.
Well, honestly, the biggest hangup in the entire strike is that the writers room that the writers want is too big, and they want it to check, X amount of boxes.
Right.
And it's just, but we're like, hey guys, my point I was trying to get to, I lost it, but I'm back. Is the big thing is the residual deals, right? That's the thing that everybody's screaming about. Well, they're saying, well, they should be the same for streaming, and they're uncovering the dirty secret here very quickly is they're not making shit on these streaming services. These streaming services are not performing the way that the writers and actors and everybody thinks there is. They say, hey, it's got X amount of views. That doesn't mean everybody watched it and liked it, the whole deal. And it's one of those things where and especially Disney, I think Disney off Disney Plus is losing about $500 million. I think they said a quarter, or maybe it's for the year, but either way, that thing is, it's just, a money pit.
But but if it's good, if it's good, people come and see it. There's so much crap,
right?
It's quantity, not quality.
And that's the thing that every time I hear a writer interviewed it's on this show that they're on the 5th season of, and I was like, I've never heard of this show. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
And especially since, we cut the cord a while ago, all our entertainment, for the most part, aside for a few things here and there, is all off streaming services. If you're on one of the 2,000 channels, you got a show, I don't see it. And like, there's so many of those shows where like, oh, I wrote this, be like, no one knows what you're talking about. Unless it's Stranger Things or, any of the Yellowstone series, no one gives a crap about your series.
Yep. Yeah, they're just too much out there. And then I don't know about you guys. I mean, sometimes I'll start watching something and I'll go back a couple days later and go, where the hell was I watching that? Was it?
Yep.
I spent a half hour hunting it down. Was it Prime? Was it HBO? Because for some reason I'm not sharing any passwords, of course, but I got all of them. Seems like, so.
That's one reason I was pissed last night. I was like, okay, resubscribe to freaking Disney Plus so I can start watching this show. But yeah, I'm in the same way. So let's see, we're Netflix, Hulu, Peacock, Prime, Max,
now
Paramount Plus.
Now, and we've I think I was on one of your shows talking about The Boys. Now that is freaking good. The Boys on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen The Boys?
Oh yeah.
I'm not a Boys.
I think
believer.
Yeah. I didn't see the most recent season. I know season 3 dropped like a year ago. I haven't seen it. The first 2 seasons, I thought they were very good, very original. Because part of it was you kind of out of superpowers. How did Stan Lee feel at the end of however many years? I mean, you can't. Everything's been done, and they found some ways to do it. So that was kind of cool. Anyway,
that's the funny thing. Everybody thought like, oh, Stan Lee came up with Spider-Man. He's like, he was literally throwing shit at the wall and see what stuck, and it just happened to be like, oh yeah, Spider-Man. Oh, okay, like if you heard probably all the ridiculous ideas, especially, well, just Blue Beetle, like that character's been around since what, the 30s? Like, it's just one of those. Hey, we're just gonna start. Does this work? No. It's like Legos. This work? No. Yeah, sort of. Let's try it.
Stan Lee's wife had a story that she told to Kevin Smith. He shared it. That she said that everybody talks about the superheroes that he makes, but you guys have never even heard or gotten a part of all the love letters he's written me over the years, and all the sweet notes and cards that he's left for me. That's his best writing. That's what she said. And that's a hell of a thing right there.
Yeah, I want to see the superheroes that didn't make it, ended up on the cutting room floor. That would be that's a pile of crap, I'm sure.
I had
arm fall off guy.
Yeah.
Always get coupon
Well,
price.
as they made it in the Suicide Squad, didn't he?
Yeah, well, they called him the detachable kid, but he was supposed to be arm fall off guy from the.
Wait, that's a real thing? I thought you made that up.
No, I didn't make it up. It was arm fall off guy, and his arms would just fall off. That was his power.
That's funny.
So in the Suicide Squad movie, the James Gunn one, where you see Nathan Fillion, he's playing TDK, the detachable kid. That's the nod to arm fall off guy.
I always
That's
thought
really funny.
I always like because they sometimes do comparisons like who did it first, like which character had which powers first, and how many actually like they had like DC had a magnetic, character before Magneto, but they just didn't work it right. It's just sometimes I think it's funny that or clearly Blue Beetle, what they tried to reincarnate him into is like, hey, they got a Spider-Man over there. Let's get us a Spider-Man. And
Yeah.
they're trying to make him
Blue Beetle.
There were an awful lot of comparisons in my head to Blue Beetle and Iron Man. I mean, he even had.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
and we can talk about it, but that was totally one of my takeaways. It's like someone who was like, "Oh shit, I got directed a comic book movie. Let's go watch some comic book movies and see what they did, and let's just do that."
Hey, that looks cool. Let's
cool.
Yeah.
Wait, we're making DC movie now. Oh shit. Okay, we'll still make it work.
I just, if I may, just go back one exit to arm fall off guy. I forget what I was listening to a radio show, I think, and they were talking. People were calling in about nicknames that people got at work, and some guy worked. I think he was a carpenter, and he was in some accident. Somehow he fell and he cut off 7 of his fingers, which is tragic, not funny, terrible. But his nickname after that was Godfrey. Everybody called him Godfrey because he only got 3 fingers.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
that sounds like a carpenter crew for you.
Yeah, and be like, yeah, look at guys, yeah, very funny.
Godfrey,
and I guarantee they called him that.
I wonder if you only had 3 fingers, if this one would end up being the middle finger. Then, if you're giving,
you're like, which finger does he give to? Yeah,
and that's Godfrey.
All right, let's get into Ahsoka here. So they just dropped the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka. Adam thought they were dropping in October.
Oh,
I did. He said, "Adam, are we gonna review Ahsoka?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was even thinking donuts, apple cider time of year.
I'm the other way. I thought they already dropped, and Nick invited me, and I said, "Oh yeah, I got to catch up." He goes, they're not even coming out for a couple days, bro."
So Ron,
we were
totally opposite spectrums. Where I was like, I thought it was because we were talking earlier. I was like, I didn't watch the show, but oh, okay, he'll be fine. He's like, you can spoil it. It's like, oh, that came in October.
Yeah. I did.
That's after I ranted the Dune 2 rant where I was just cussing for about 20 minutes.
Hey, you ruined my night with that Dune.
I say, if Nate's watching, Nate, I blame you. I was like, Yeah.
Well, I saw the first episode of Ahsoka.
Okay.
I did not see the second episode. And Adam, you haven't seen any of it?
I haven't seen any of it. Don't worry about spoiling it. Thoughts, guys?
You want to go first, Nick, or shall I?
Well, let's worry about how bad it is later.
I'll say, I'm not going to go positive. So if you're going to go positive, you can go positive first. Let's do what we liked first.
Okay. So
that's hard, huh?
Looking at Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, Rosario Dawson. Well, honestly, my first positive thought was, I thought it looked good. I mean, they put some money into it. The droids look good. The special effects look good. And that made me think they're dumping money into this. But didn't they just dump like $100 million into Willow and then dump it after a season? So I don't know what that's all about. But and as far as anything else that was good about it, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm a fan, so I watched it.
Right.
Wow.
It was, and it looked good. The
So,
plot,
what made you not like it?
very convoluted plot, and just
And
like when we go ahead.
let me help you out real quick, Jerry. So one of the issues, especially with Disney Plus, if you did not watch Rebels, you have no idea what the hell's going on.
I didn't watch any of the Rebel
And
animations.
that's a problem.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay because there's so much backstory and people and even the general that they're looking for. I didn't.
And I was like, if you didn't know what's going on, like if you aren't in tune, you have no idea what is coming in cold like Jerry is like. I guarantee. I was just saying. I was like, I bet Jerry's got no idea what the hell's going on with the show.
Yeah, until they were doing, they had Adam. They had some kind of ceremony where they were acknowledging some of the rebel generals, and so I'm like, oh, okay, so this is after the Death Star and Darth. I don't even know where it was in the timeline in the canon where it happened. So that was a little challenging. I guess my biggest thing, if I was going to get really picky and meta, the pacing of it. You know, just like when we were talking about the Obi-Wan thing, he was running
slow,
empty corridor through empty corridor, then you come across one drone. Okay. Same kind of thing with this. I fast forwarded through. She was looking for a map finder, Adam. It's a little round ball.
We have our MacGuffin.
Yeah, I fast forwarded through it because she would line up something, turn it, and then zip, and okay, that's where I go next. It was like a 7-minute long scene of her just finding this thing. Oh, okay. You know, we're going through the empty halls with Obi-Wan again. That was like, I shouldn't. But I mean,
but there's ways to make that more entertaining. Like,
yeah,
like you kind of have to figure out that she's kind of doing a puzzle. But there's, like you said, you have no idea because there's no freaking backstory.
Right. And it was so that it was just too slow, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'm just, you know, you got a 2-hour movie, you got to keep things going. You got a 6 or 8, period season, episode season. Okay, you can go a little slower, but if you don't have enough story to fill up that many episodes, don't do that many episodes. So that I would rather have a half-hour episode that moved along rather than whatever this first one was, 50 minutes, 55 minutes or something.
Jerry, would you say there's an issue with the writing?
Yeah.
could they need better writers by chance?
Yeah, one of the droids could do it. Artificial intelligence would do it better. Yes, it's again the so the pacing, but even when they said stuff, there's Ahsoka is talking to a general friend of hers, and it's one of those green hot chick dancers from the first one, but now she's a general. I mean, the same species. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Oh, all right.
Prefer them as the green hot chick dancers. That's probably sexist to say. Sorry.
I think that's a Twilight.
Yeah. But the dialogue between them was so stilted and ridiculous and long pauses. But what if General's alive? General's alive? And it's like, oh my
I almost went Shatner.
So, but
wow. Sounds like a stink bomb.
I'm a fan. I like the look of it. You know, but and you're right. You're right, Nick. I don't know how much more I would have enjoyed had I watched all the Clone Wars. Have you guys seen the Clone Wars? I have not seen them.
I've watched the Clone Wars. I forced myself to go through Rebels because of Thrawn, and I knew Thrawn was going to be eventually a big bad. Just in general, like it's incredibly mediocre. Rebels is incredibly mediocre.
Yeah.
Clone Wars has its seasons and episodes where it's freaking fantastic, and like I don't care if you're, if maybe you'd have to be a fan, but yeah, it's solid writing, solid storytelling. Like you're like, oh crap, like I'm engrossed in this stupid cartoon. I think there's a few that I was like, damn near cried. I was like, almost got me, but yeah, it's like you could do a cliff notes and probably get caught up pretty quickly. But the big thing, it's like I think there were a lot of complaints, for Doctor Strange 2, where you didn't know the entire plot unless you had watched WandaVision and stuff like that. Where just like, I think that's an issue that Disney has of, at least with comic books, even it'll say, hey, this point that we're talking about here is in this issue right here. If you don't know it, then go check it out, or what you do is you do a backstory episode. Like, it's just, it's really relying on the fans to come in kind of knowing a lot, and I think it does a disservice to its fans that don't know what's going on, because if you don't know, you've got no damn idea what's happening.
Nick, that is a great point, because it's very cool to have this expanded Marvel universe. It's very cool to have the expanded Star Wars universe, but if you're in, you got to be all the way in,
right?
And you're right, they don't do a good job fitting the pieces in, assuming, and I get that. I mean, there's so much now, but they could have done. They
used to. Marvel used to.
Yeah, they used to know what they were doing until Disney took over.
You could sit down and you could watch Captain America: The First Avenger, see that end clip, know that it's going to go into Thor, and then you could go and watch Captain America: Civil War and never see Thor, and still be just fine.
Yeah. And that they did a really bad job of just, if they're putting on streaming, they're really going after normies. Like they need all the normies they can get, because they've lost the MCU's lost so many normies. But you just need people to parachute in and just be like, hey, here's a story. And that it's actually my first point. Disney does not know how to do episodic television. They simply don't.
Yeah.
Because if we're saying these two first episodes are a pilot, what's the pilot supposed to do? It's supposed to, sink its hooks into you and, really give you something. Mm-hmm. And we're sitting here going, we're talking about pacing in episodes 1 and 2. Like, you can't, like,
there is no pilot, because it automatically gets its season.
It's true. Now, the good news is you start off right away into some action. But what's the context? Who are these people? Where is she? Who is this person? I don't even know.
Right. And
so good point.
Let's go down my list here.
Yeah.
I already talked about, if you didn't watch Rebels, you would have no idea what's going on. And that leads into, you have no idea why Sabine and Ahsoka are pissed off at each other.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like a key point in the show. They're just mad at each other. You have no idea why. Like, they kind of, get into that in episode 2, but like, as far as episode 1, you're like, why are these two girls being totally bitchy to each other?
Well, and not to give a spoiler away yet, I'm sorry, but at the end of episode 1, one of them gets injured and the other one is coming to her aid, and that's, I think, supposed to be a big dramatic, oh, here's these two gals, they don't like each other and they got to help each other.
Right.
It was lost on me.
Yeah. I didn't even realize that till you said it. I didn't realize that was that was kind of supposed to be a moment.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
And then my next point is, the Sabine music, which is kind of gets to my overall thing. Disney cannot get the tone of Star Wars correct.
Right.
They simply can't. Like, the Sabine music where she's introduced, it's metal music, and I'm like, no,
with an alien singing, yeah,
with electric guitar with distortion and drums, and I'm like, I was like, what the hell is this? Like, I was just like,
but now even that kind of reminded me of the Chris Pine, Captain Kirk
Star Trek, yeah.
And again,
J.J. Abrams. Nick loves J.J.
I know that.
Four Eyes.
Yeah, but even when Sabine is leaving the city, she's leaving the city a couple times. Miles of totally empty highway. Wow. Because they couldn't afford a bunch of extras,
when they had the two cops there to stop her, and the one goes ahead, and I'm like, after a while, I'm like, how many miles ahead did she she go 50 miles ahead of the road, because there was just a continual back and forth, stop, I ain't stopping for you. I'm just like, how? I was like, how far?
Yeah,
because the other cop went to go block the road.
She
and it took 2 minutes, and she's going balls out, however fast her speeder goes. I'm just like, how far? I was like, how far did that cop block the road up there? So
she's coming.
Yeah,
Let me get another cigarette. She's still coming.
Right. Oh, I fell asleep. Yeah.
That's crazy. And that's one of the things that is an overall. It doesn't happen all the time, but even in Star Trek, Spock could beam right down into the cave with the elders. Instead, he's at the bottom of the mountain.
Right.
And then with this at the very end, again, Sabine and Ahsoka, one of them is injured. I won't say who. But when the ship lands and the one goes running to help, she's like a quarter mile away. I'm coming. Why? Why didn't she just park next to her?
Why do we park so far away?
For the dramatic run. I don't know.
But I just kind of wrote down like things off the top of my head. I don't want to go too deep into it, but why, Lord, why does no one get stabbed in the chest or stomach, and it's totally fine? Like it didn't even happen.
Yeah, it's on.
Qui-Gon would like to have a word with you.
Yeah, it's on the opposite side of your heart. She got stabbed there, so.
Well, there you go.
Maybe
Reva got stabbed there. I was like, since when does getting stabbed not like it's used to be a killing blow in most places, but I was like, between modern Marvel and Star Wars Disney, I was like, apparently just getting stabbed with a lightsaber through the chest, not a big deal anymore.
That was kind of the end.
Yeah, that thing can like melt its way through how many layers of steel?
Steel.
Feet of steel.
Yeah, feet.
And you know what I thought of, Nick? What I was thinking of when that went through with that person who we won't say got stabbed.
Yeah.
I thought, oh my God, if I ever got stabbed, I would be laying there dying, embarrassed because people would probably smell bacon.
Oh my God.
There is a bit I saw with this comedian. He's a heavier guy, and he's like, so I started going to the gym, pretty hard lately, mainly because I'm unhealthy, and the last thing I want to go through someone's, mouth is when the EMT or ambulance guy finds me dead and has to go, oh, because he has to pick my heavy ass up and try and get me out of the wherever I died at. He's just like, so that's kind of why I'm doing it. So that the poor EMT who finds me is stage just not awful because I died.
Oh, that's funny. And I'm going the other way. There's a church in Detroit that has like 12 steps, then a landing, then 12 steps. And I'm planning that last year, so I want to get up to 650 and let my nephews carry me down the steps. One last gift from Uncle Jerry. There you go.
Nice.
So don't forget, Uncle Jerry loves you.
Yeah, only thinking of you guys. Anyway.
So, but yeah, I was just like, Disney once again, and we were talking about, things that we thought couldn't miss, and I'm going to add a couple to that list. I was like, let's see here. Before it happened, a show about Obi-Wan Kenobi, thought that'd be a layup. A show about Boba Fett, thought that'd be a layup, and you're just like,
Boba Fett was okay, man.
How do you keep dropping the ball?
Dude, and that's the one I didn't see. I haven't seen Boba Fett, so I will.
Boba Fett's worth the watch. It's not perfect,
but
it's worth the watch.
So, Nick, to your point, how many episodes are these? 6, 8 episodes. They have backstory. They have beloved characters. The Simpsons has been going on 35, 36 years. Week after week, they come up with great stuff. You can't do 6 episodes with this rich source material. Come on, guys.
If you told me that, you had all of the Star Wars galaxy to play with, and you couldn't pump out less than a dozen decent shows out of it, and the first 2 seasons of Mando is about what I'll give you.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd say you're out of your mind. Like they'd run, like they would be running out of material. If you'd have told me that, I'd be like, you're out of your mind.
Yeah. Why is it so hard to come up with good stories? I don't know. I don't get it.
They
John
can
Favreau,
literally copy and paste from Heir of the Empire,
sure.
and that's what they're gonna do. Except they're gonna give it to Rey or Ahsoka instead of giving it to Luke. But whatever, because that's a Luke story.
Yeah, but John Favreau has the golden touch. J.J. Abrams has the golden touch.
But they Favreau's they've screwed him over so bad at Disney. He's done.
Well, I know he hasn't been doing anything since that first Mando, but I don't know what happened to him. I thought he just lost interest or went on to other projects. Disney screwed him. Oh man, because he knew how to tell a story. J.J. Abrams certainly knows how to tell a damn story. Why is it so hard? I saw an old clip from the Jon Stewart show, and George Lucas was on there, and Jon Stewart said, that nobody ever knows. That was good. Nobody ever knows where Obi-Wan's from. What planet is Obi-Wan from? And George says, well, this is really, well thought out, all the backstory. And Jon Stewart calls him on and says, hey, don't go making up stuff right now on the spot. And he said, no, Jon Stewart, Obi-Wan was from the planet Stu-Jon. He's like, yeah, okay. You made that.
Well, that's the thing. That whole universe is in that man's head, and no one else.
Yeah.
It's one of those crazy things. No one else gets it besides him.
I wonder if he regrets walking away from it. I understand why he did. He made him a rich man, but
I just saw, and I think it's from an interview that was shot a couple years ago with Marsha Lucas. His first, I think it's his first wife, but either way, the wife that helped make Star Wars.
Right.
And she got so emotional about it because she said, George would never sell it. He would never sell it. He's like, never in a million years did I ever think, he said he never would. And then she like almost broke down and said, and then he did it. And it was like, oh God.
I remember being surprised. People like, somebody, here's my babies that I created. You raise them. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is put a Mike Tyson face tattoo on the girl. Like, why are you doing that?
What are you doing? And not to mention when he sold it, he's like, here's an outline for the next 3 movies.
Right.
And they said,
Yeah, I know. Do you guys know what his outline was? I have no idea. I don't think it was.
What I've heard is, the biggest twist thing I heard was that actually Leia was the one, like she was supposed to be, that part of the prophecy. So everybody's screaming, oh, whatever, girl boss, whatever. Yeah, that was kind of built into it. So,
originally Luke Skywalker was supposed to be a girl, right?
I'm not sure.
I know it's Star Killer. I know the name.
Yeah, I remember. There's been so many rumors as to what was supposed to happen and what did happen.
Mm-hmm.
What was like Blue Harvest.
And I wonder what George had in mind. I like the way it seems as if, there's always new Jedi powers, like Force Ghosts. Okay, kind of got used to that. In this Ahsoka thing, there's a Jedi, or is he a Jedi? But he's in front of this door, and I think he's going to take his lightsaber and go through it like Qui-Gon did. No, he goes, and you see the lock. Oh, so cool.
There are some pretty cool elements, especially pretty much anytime Ray Stevenson's on screen, I was like, I'm already interested. But yeah, that was actually kind of cool sequence. But my thing is, and this is one of the big contention that I have and a lot of Star Wars have with Dave Filoni is, so were the only Jedi actually killed on Order 66 the ones that we saw on screen? Because they just there's more Jedis, every single time there's a thing. Hey, look, another Jedi. I'd be like, apparently Order 66 wasn't that bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm with you, Nick. I'm with you 100%. Like Order 66, like they are kind of like poo-pooing on it. But I've always thought to myself, like, how easy were these guys to kill? I'm not saying they should be doing what they're doing,
Right.
but like, but
no,
let's just take modern Disney Star Wars. Yeah, like modern Disney Star Wars, like maybe a bunch of them. I mean, you never know. Everybody could have just went go stealth, and everybody pulls an Obi-Wan Kenobi and goes hiding.
Everybody went John Cena and you can't see me and all that. Yeah.
Because for as many Jedis as they had in the prequel trilogy, it kind of seems like execute Order 66, and then the Jedis just turn around and go, what?
The what?
And fucking kill everybody. Like, what happened? What happened to the first movie in Phantom Menace where it's like, we will not survive this. Have you ever encountered a Jedi before? And he was right.
And that is, I 100% agree. And that is kind of one of the things that they slowly start taking away, is especially the effectiveness of the lightsaber in the Star Wars universe. Apparently, there's 1,000 weapons out there that can combat, that you can go hand to hand with a Jedi with, no big deal. But also just the ineffectiveness of the Jedi, just how, and I don't like everybody having powers. Like, I very much, I've said this about my comic book characters. I want proximity on what my heroes can do, because I don't like the vagueness of, oh, well, the Force works in mysterious ways. So we can just have this person have this power when we need it. I hate that stuff.
Well, because that's where the story comes from, is from the limitations.
Correct.
That's where the edge of the story starts, if you don't have limitations.
That's where I'm at 1,000%, because I hate the characters where, oh, their powers are mysterious. I was like, oh, so they can do whatever you want them to do at any time, and it just, well, it's mysterious. So
it's so mysterious.
That's why I've said this before, but I love there's a comic book nightclub that Mark Millar's doing it, and it's about these kids that get vampire powers. Does he reinvent the vampire genre? No, he says it's vampires.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you know about vampires, that's it. We're not expanding. It's like, this is their box that they're in. They're vampires.
Everything I know about vampires, you mean they glow gold in the sun and they have perfect hair? Oh, okay.
Exactly. And they're all in high school. Still.
Yeah, of course.
For 1,000 years.
Long time, yeah.
And they grow up to be, and when they start to age, they turn into Batman.
There you go. Hey, so we talked about the first 9 movies. Did I read somewhere that the gal who played Rey, I forget her name, they signed up for another movie about
Daisy Ridley? They announced it.
Oh, did they?
But this is the thing that Marvel and DC, or not DC, but Disney are, they announce a bunch of shit and then they don't ever actually do it. So they announce it, but nothing's been put into production. And I think they kind of saw the strike on the horizon. So he said, well, we'll just announce stuff. Announce a bunch of stuff, and then if by chance it gets canceled, well, it's the strike's fault. So.
Yeah, well, they got to keep interest in it somehow, but I don't know. I think we're in for at least the next 18 months is going to be kind of a dark time.
Well, that's what I told them.
I hope they start showing old movies at the theater.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to. They're going to have to.
Yeah, well, that's the only time my wife saw Star Wars. I forget when it was. The 30 or 20 year anniversary. Was late.
We were just talking about that.
Late 90s, mid 90s. We went somewhere, and I loved it just as much. Saw the original 3.
I'm pissed because I didn't go see Jedi when they re-released. That's the only one I haven't seen in the theater.
We didn't go. We went to everything else. Looking at the 2 guys who saw Spice World.
I was just about to say, to put in perspective, we made the agreement that we would go see every movie that came out that summer. That just happened to be the summer that Spice World came out. And when I came out of the theater, there was a girl that I liked that came out. It's like, hey guys, what are you doing right? Watching Spice World?
Wait, come back. I'm going to tell you what I want, what I really want.
Oh, God.
Unfortunate.
Oh, that's funny. That's as I get older, I've noticed changes because I used to know all the names of the Spice Girls. I'm afraid to say, and then I knew all the names of all the
Sporty
Teletubbies.
baby,
Spice,
Ginger,
yeah,
Gosh.
keep it going.
Scary.
Oh, you're a fan. You're a Spice World fan.
Yep, Sporty, Ginger, Baby, Scary, and there's a fifth one, right?
Posh.
Who am I missing? Posh, yes.
Mhm.
Beckham's wife.
Yeah, it was all an act. I know. I to my chagrin, I've never seen Spice World, but on your strong recommendation, I'm feeling from you guys, I might just.
I don't think you should see it.
I don't think anybody else watched it that summer, so maybe it's just us.
I ran into when we were going to Blue Beetle. I was in line for concessions because it's free popcorn day on Tuesdays at MJR's. I don't know if all of them.
wow.
So that's you'll see me on a Tuesday late afternoon at the movies. But my neighbor was going, and I said, "Hey Tim, what are you going to go see?" Barbie. He's coming, man, card. It's okay.
It's fine. It's okay, buddy.
Yeah. So, are you guys going to continue watching Ahsoka?
I was just going to ask you. I was like, are you in for the long haul with this?
I'll see the second episode.
Okay.
I'll see. And if
so we won't be seeing Jerry again.
So if it continues at this pace, I'm probably going to tap out. However, I might go back and pick up. Which one did you?
Boba Fett.
Yeah, the Boba Fett one.
Boba Fett, Book of Boba Fett.
Book of Boba Fett. I might go back and check that one out. As you're talking, maybe I started watching it, but I didn't finish it for some reason because that had a pretty good story. Anyway, it seems like you said, Nick, it should be a slam dunk home run every time with this great, rich source material. And I don't know. And with Disney, you're right. They can't seem to get the series down.
I gotta find out what that interview is because it's with Marsha Lucas, and she just goes, and talking basically directly to Kathleen Kennedy, saying they just don't get it. Like they just don't understand Star Wars. They simply don't get it. And you can just tell her, just like everything that they've tried, everything, including the Galactic Star Cruiser, like when they showed the pictures of that, they go, "Hey, guys, that's not Star Wars. That's Battlestar Galactica." And they're like, "I'm sorry, what?" Yeah, they're like, "There's a difference." Be like, "Yeah, there's a big difference between Star Wars, Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica," and people are like, "Hey, yeah, you can't just slap Star Wars on everything and
right." And I think that's when Disney bought Star Wars. I think it's exactly what they did. We can just crank them out and people will see whatever drivel we put out there. And no.
My biggest concern when Disney bought Star Wars was that they were gonna assembly line it, right? Just like, and very much what they got accused of with Marvel. Like, here's the formula, input here, and then spit out movie. And then I thought the biggest issue would be too much too soon, and you would oversaturate the market with Star Wars.
Yeah.
I didn't think for a second that they would actively try and destroy it, which is basically what they've done.
Yeah.
Where you take the main heroes, you don't put them together in the same movie, in the same scene. You make Luke a loser. You make Han Solo a loser. It's just like, what the hell, man?
Yeah. And you kind of tap
Jordy.
Wow. Jordy. But
Jordy.
Maybe that's why.
Good job for Jordy.
Maybe that's why Favreau has the golden touch, because he's a fan. JJ's a fan. They grew up loving this stuff.
He's the first Iron Man. He set off the entire MCU. He set the entire tone.
Yeah. To this day, that's that one and the first Captain America are still. I mean, they're not superhero movies. They're just good movies that happen to be superhero.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. If we were to rank them, yeah, Iron Man would be near top of the list.
For me, yeah. And like George Lucas and Spielberg, when they went off, and I think they left town. I heard that Spielberg or Lucas somebody didn't even go to the Star Wars premiere because they thought, for sure, it's not going to be good. And that's when they were thinking up Indiana Jones, because they were fans of the Saturday morning stuff, and they liked the lasso, and they liked all the adventure, and they weren't thinking about money. They were thinking about making a dang good movie. Maybe that's at the root of it.
Trying to make something a little different. Just
anyway. What are you gonna do? Well, Nick, thank you so much for inviting me. I just love talking to you guys. It's
thanks for coming.
Yeah, always enjoy it. It's always a good conversation. You guys always have some excellent points, and it's fun to nerd out a little bit.
Of course. So we'll lightly pencil you in for next week. So if you're feeling up to it, and then even you can start if you watch any both, that we can talk about that as well. So.
Right. And I'll watch the show that I thought was coming out in October.
Surprise!
You know when I found out today. Today.
Good show prep. Good show prep.
Right. I was like
on point.
I was like, great, we got a show about this in just a couple hours. Actually, that's not true. That's not true. I thought to myself, I wonder if Nick knows it's out yet. That's what I really thought.
Yep, I knew.
Hey, Nick, can I see one more look at your beautiful mural behind you before we sign off?
Don't mind the dirty laundry.
Oh, now I'm looking at I'm trying to find dirty laundry. I don't see any. Look at that. Dang, brother.
Yeah.
I kept it out of frame.
That is something else.
Look at the Batman behind his head.
So great.
Yeah.
Really well done, friend. Really well done. Gotta say.
Oh, still terrible.
Well, we will pick this up. I'm going to sign off, and thank you again. And with any luck at all, I'll see you crazy kids next week.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Terry.
All right.
See you later.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Bye.
And then there were two. Well, Adam.
There were two.
Let's get to it. Adam and I had a little double date last weekend where we went and checked out not one, but two movies. And we're going to talk about
right
now.
The Blue Beetle.
The Blue Beetle.
I mean, it was a little generic. It took a little bit from every other comic book movie. I mean, at this point, what are you going to do, right? Everything's kind of been done, especially with the first flight scene. Instead of being like Iron Man, where he did it very smooth, he ended up real sloppy, like whatever. It was okay. It was okay. I was entertained.
I think there's a fun movie in there somewhere, but for love of God, like, and all right, so I'm going to take a slightly different approach where just way too much messaging in this movie. Way too much messaging.
I mean, I picked up on like family values and stuff like that.
All right, so here, I have more notes. I think if not a South American director directed this movie, I think there would be outrage at how stereotypical the family was.
Right.
George Lopez's truck was named Paco.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, there's just so many, like I said, if someone not South American directed, I think there would have been absolute chaos and screaming and like, oh, you're stereotyping us. I was like, it was just the most stereotypical shit. Let's see, and just I'm slightly, I don't remember as much now because.
Well, how about just but
it was but
movie family?
The sister was unbearable.
Unbearable. That was Movie Kid.
You said that to me in the movie, you're like, Movie Kid. I was like, just the worst character in the entire movie, including Susan Grant. But it was just it seemed like the director's like, oh shit, I have to direct a movie. Like, oh, I'm going to go watch some other movies and I'm going to kind of copy a little bit, but not very well what they did because it just.
I don't know about you, but after seeing half of Shazam Part 2, all of Black Adam, seeing The Flash,
Mhm.
it just seems like I saw the same, and now Blue Beetle, the same 4 movies, just with different
Incredibly
plot
formulated.
points.
Yeah.
Yeah. Incredibly formulated to be a disaster.
Yes. Yeah. Of all the places that I don't want to say should be taking chances, which is kind of what they did, but like DC has the most to prove by far. You know, they're so far behind Marvel, like, and they just can't get their crap together to get their cinematic universe in order.
Well, they don't have to anymore. I mean, they're going with a brand new cinema. And what we're watching right now is what they set out to do with Man of Steel in 2013. We're watching the end of that.
Yeah.
And it's not ending pretty.
No, it's literally just
Not even
the dog at this point.
What upsets me is it's ending without even seeming like anyone's trying anymore.
Yeah, it's those last 3 movies that you mentioned. They all seem so low effort. Like
Yeah.
like it's just like it's kind of like Disney with Star Wars, where they kind of don't get it, but with Disney movies, there's nothing to get because they still haven't done anything yet.
Right.
And it's it's the same thing. It seems like they don't. It seems like the DC comics versus the DC movies. It's like they don't even understand their own characters.
Nope.
So, but
I started watching Batman Begins a little bit here and there throughout the week. What a movie. Now that's a good comic book movie. That is.
Yeah,
I
and just things that I was watching. I started rewatching since I'm really into the Millarverse. I started rewatching. Was it Jupiter Ascending?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never saw that.
It's so.
I heard it's really good. It looks good.
It has its issues, just stylistically, but I think the only thing it kind of actually suffers from is on Jupiter's Legacy. Jupiter Ascending. It's that stupid movie, Channing Tatum. Jupiter's Legacy. Sorry. I think kind of the only crime that Jupiter's Legacy has is it actually tries to do a lot of stuff. Can't think of the word. Not using really CGI. Like some of the action scenes seem a little slow because it's not all CGI'd and sped up and all that. So there's just a few things stylistically, but they did so much groundwork in trying to, really flesh out the universe that it kind of it slows it down a little bit, but I don't usually mind when they do that stuff when it's world building, right? I mean,
sure.
you kind of got to get on with the story at some point, but yeah, the world building as to because there's a lot of time jumps between modern past, like before they get their powers, like back to the Depression era, that type of stuff, and there's a lot going on, and I'm kind of disappointed that wasn't allowed to kind of come to fruition.
Well, but Blue Beetle, do you recommend it?
No.
So you don't think anybody will have fun going to see it?
Okay, I'll say this: I would not go to the theaters to go see it, and as it turns out, a lot of people didn't. It made $25 million. It was enough to knock off Barbie, which is kind of hilarious in its own right. But it's totally if you've got nothing going on a Wednesday night, check out Blue Beetle on when it comes out on Max. But it's not it sucks because I really like the kid who plays Jaime, and I hate that they had a scene in there where some lady deliberately mispronounces Jamie, and they kind of make it a point in the movie. I'm just like, there's just so much of that shit. I'm just like why is that in the movie? Besides just that there's just too much messaging, especially in the beginning. I'm just like, I just don't. You've lost me already. You know that they made such the big point that it's the first Latino superhero, and I'm just like, okay, if you still have to make a superhero movie for everybody, not just for Latino.
Yeah, and fuck Zorro, right?
Yeah, F Zorro, and
I love Zorro, by the way.
Yeah, but I mean, there's lots of. I like they act like it's the first one. I was like, no, like there's more. I just can't think of them because you know why? Because I don't think of race that much. I really freaking don't, and I hate that in 2023 we have to think about it so damn much. That's one of the things that pisses me off because that's one of the things I was. It's such a 2020 movie, like 2020 to 2023. It's such in that movie
like
where it
came out in the early 20s.
Yeah, you can. It's so. It's not going to be timeless. I'll say that.
Right. I get you. I would recommend people go see it. For a matinee, if you want something to do right now, if you haven't seen Barbie 1,000 times already, or you have seen Barbie 1,000 times already, and you want to go and see something. But then again, if you haven't seen Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, maybe you should go see that instead, because that's what I would do.
That's what I would do.
So, well, go see Voyage of the Demeter.
Yeah, that's the other one we talked about. So, all right, anything else we want to say about Blue Beetle?
Sorry, Ted Cord.
I was like, there's a movie there too. If they did a period piece Ted Cord movie, that would work. And they set it up for that. That would totally work. And nope, that's gone. Even though, are they keeping the Jaime Reyes kid?
I don't think so.
Because I know like that was sort of linked to James Gunn's stuff, but I don't know if I don't know in what way, because there was some weird thing that they were saying where Blue Beetle's the first.
Yeah, I know. I heard that too.
But I didn't exactly understand how they were doing that.
Yeah. You got me, brother.
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing him come back as Jaime, but just overall, like everything else, it just seemed like a hodgepodge of people once again not really understanding how to make a superhero movie. So, but anyway,
too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah. Per usual with DC stuff. Adam, what was the other movie that we went and saw?
The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Ooh, spooky, scary.
I liked this movie a lot.
Yeah, I liked it too.
I really did.
High stakes.
Dude, they went hard. They killed a kid and a dog.
Yeah, I killed a kid and a dog. That's true.
I was like, damn, dude, they're going hard in pain on this one. So this was directed by Andre Overdell. Hold on, I have to show you because it's got a weird thing, like it's Norwegian or something.
Norwegian.
So it's got an Andre with the thing at the over the
E,
and then an O with the slash through it. I don't know how to pronounce what that means. Let's see what else he's done.
Let's just call him Dre.
Yeah. So what else has he done? He's known for Troll Hunter, The Autopsy of Jane Doe, Not a Chevy, thank you. Tunnelin' and Mortal is what he's doing.
I heard that Autopsy of Jane Doe is something else.
I think we maybe my wife's watched it. I don't know. But yeah, I really like this movie. It was it seemed like a movie that stuck pretty close to the source material. I know you would have a better idea than I, but it's based off of one chapter in Bram Stoker's Dracula, right?
Yeah, it makes me want to go back and read that. Not read it, but listen to it on audio because when I was listening to it, I was like, wow, this book doesn't gloss over it just like the movie does. You know, like everything you see in the movie, for the most part, I'd say a good 92% of what you see in that movie that came out with Keanu Reeves that Bram Stoker did. Not Bram Stoker, Francis Ford Coppola did, is in the book. You know, so most of what you see is in that book. But in the movie, all you really see is the Demeter, you know, crashing into the shoreline or whatever, and that's it. It's just a kind of a quick montage snippet, and then you see, you know, Dracula as a white wolf, and he takes Lucy and all that kind of stuff. But the detail as to like what happens to all the other shipmates, that's in there, and makes me want to revisit it because it was good. It was it wasn't. How do I describe this? It wasn't a bad like pit stop in the book. You know what I'm saying? It was like, wow, this is way more developed than I thought it was. It was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that actually translate really well to the screen. Where like as just a self-contained story, it's a
Right.
really good story, and yeah, it clocked in at I think just under 2 hours. Let's see. Oh, still on the record. So yeah, it clocks in just under 2 hours, but it moves pretty well. It does drag a little bit towards the latter part of the middle, if that makes sense. Before,
Yeah.
I mean, there is a little drag there, but so overall, like that, you know, you're on a ship the whole time. It's a really classic story. Uh, just being on a ship, but also I love like those old ship stories. Like I think Master and Commander is one of the best movies ever.
I'll have to see it.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm putting that. That might be one of the. That might go on the list. That might be a perfect movie.
Oh, what movie?
That might be a perfect movie.
Oh,
But so I just love. I love the old ships and the whole. I think they did a really really good job with the time frame, making everything pretty time accurate. Yeah, I really enjoyed the movie. Like I said, they went hard, killed a kid and a dog. You don't see that. I was like, damn. I was like, holy crap! They killed everything that like they're no one's surviving this. Everybody's life is up for grabs on this one. If they killed the dog and the kid, almost no one will walk away from this one.
it was only almost like 30 Days a Night in a way. It had a bit of that.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that's a really good comparison because you're like, oh, like we're just gonna pick all these guys off. Okay, let's go.
And it was one vampire.
Yeah, it was one, but also I'm really happy with the stylistic decisions, how they made the vampire look. They didn't make him, they made it look like a creature. They didn't make him look like a man. He was
not until the end.
Yeah,
spoilers.
Correct. Yeah, but yeah, he was a creature, and it was like, and it took so long to even get a good look at it. You're like, what the hell? Oh, geez. That's not what you think of when you think of Dracula or him transforming into a vampire. Like it was pretty. Like,
Oh God, no.
Holy. And there was only a couple killing scenes, but probably my favorite shot in the whole movie was when he's in the room with the kid. This is reviews, so spoilers. And they're trying to break down the door, and then that's the first actual shot you get.
Oh,
of
yeah.
He walks by the broken part of the door, and it reminds me kind of like that shot from oh damn it, what's the M. Night Shyamalan movie with the aliens? Like it's kind of like that.
Oh,
where,
Signs.
yeah,
Signs.
Signs. Where the alien just walks by the alley, and you're like, oh, you're like, oh crap. It's kind of that same feeling. Like, oh man, there he is. That's your first. That was their first shot actually seeing the vampire. It's like, oh man, it was. I really liked it.
It was unsettling. It was like, oh yeah.
And it really bumped it up, like it really ratcheted up the whole movie because they made a point, like, just these boat workers, these sailors, they're concerned about, they want to get to their destination fast because they want the bonus. They said that numerous times. What about the bonus? What about the bonus? These guys who are just
right.
And then it turns from what about the bonus to like, well, who's gonna are any of us gonna survive? And when
are we going to even make it?
Yeah, and when the captain goes, he's like, yep, we're all gonna die here, boys. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that movie.
It was intense. It kept you on the edge of your seat, and I really liked it.
Yeah, so besides a few slow points where I'm like, do we have to see everybody die? Like, can't we just montage a few of these? But
time for a montage.
But yeah, it was
even Rocky had a montage.
right. But yeah, fun scary movie, and I will look forward to watching this during the fall. So
you and me both, sir. I give it 2 thumbs up.
Definitely recommend, if you can, go check in the theater. If not, then once it hits the streaming service, yeah, definitely go check it out. So,
but you make a good point there, Nick. You talk about they really captured the spirit of being out helpless on the ocean in a wooden fucking ship. Yep. And just, it was a beautiful ship anyway. It was right. a beautiful piece that they built for this movie. Yeah, get out there and experience it in the theater, folks.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those, like, you could tell, like, that was, that could have been a real ship, that, like, just the level of details that they went to, that was a ship.
Absolutely.
And like I said, it very much, at least in the same way, like Master and Commander kind of captures that as well, just like that actual life on a working sailor on one of these ships. And it's I love stuff like that, so I'm a history nerd for that stuff. So yeah, for something like you said, everybody just glossed over, so there's a hell of a story in there, and they did a really good job bringing that to life.
Yeah, amen.
All right, Adam, anything else we want to cover? Do we want to get into some of the toy stuff?
You know what? No, because it's upsetting me, man. I'm a little pissed off. I don't want to talk about the toys tonight, because
all right,
I swear to God, that McFarlane character. Here's why. I guess we're talking about toys. Here's why this 3-pack upsets me with this Clayface, this Rebirth Batman, and this Batwoman figure. Oh, Adam, he'll release her as a... No, not necessarily. He never released Hal Jordan as a regular figure. You had to buy that 2-pack. And I had to get 2 of the Dawnbreaker figures just to get my Hal Jordan. I'm not buying because that's a deluxe Clayface anyway. I'm not buying that twice. Are you fucking crazy?
Well, and I really like Clayface, and I'm obviously I would say I'm probably more a fan of the Batman, the animated version, but he looks like shit, like literally. That's why I can't bring myself to buy Clayface, because he looks like shit.
I like him. I know you. I got your double entendre on that one, but I like. I'm glad I have a Clayface action figure. I do own him. I own both of the action figures in that stupid box set, except for Batwoman.
Another pre-order, they have the Atomic Skull versus Superman. Atomic Skull looks good.
What's up with the 2-packs? Just release a fucking Atomic Skull.
Atomic Skull includes 2 atomic energy effects, and Superman includes 2 sets of interchangeable hands.
Eat balls, Todd McFarlane.
Well, you heard it here.
Oh, what's going on with the Batmobile now?
Yeah, it's the what is it? The Bat Raptor.
Oh,
gold label.
Oh, I have the Bat Raptor.
Not gold label.
Yeah, I'll get some paint. Oh, it is a little different.
It's a little bit different, but not enough. But the
Not
big
enough to
thing,
get me to buy it. What is
thing
that?
kind of going for pre-order is the interrogation scene from the Dark Knight trilogy, based on the iconic scene
From the Dark Knight.
I can't remember the damn movie right now.
It's a $1 billion movie. You can't remember the name of it. The Dark Knight.
The Batman. Based on the iconic scene from the Dark Knight, this 7-inch scale figure set includes 6 alternate hands, cell phone, handcuffs, 2 chairs, a table, environmental backdrop, and collectible art card, and a base. Batman figure sold separately. Like, come on.
Show me some Keaton stuff like this. Show me some Keaton stuff like this, and I'll care. You
know how many millions of figures that would sell if they released a 2-pack of Jack Nicklaus? And
yeah,
that would blow the roof off.
What is that damn figure up there in the middle?
Let's see here. So this is
it's Jim Gordon as Batman.
Batman Endgame.
Yeah, that's Jim Gordon.
Does he need 6 extra hands? My cat's attacking me now. Oh, stop! And it looks like they released some Stranger Things page punchers. I didn't think that must have just changed because he didn't have the Stranger Things license.
No, NECA did.
Oh, if NECA, or maybe it's just like Turtles where they release 16 licenses. Because they had Turtles, they had figures that had the Turtles and Stranger Things. Which actually, I'm reading that comic book. That's pretty okay so far. But yeah, I'm not a fan. I tried, and I know this is a repeat for Adam, but I tried getting into Dark Knights of Steel, couldn't do it. The figures look okay, but I had no interest in this line because I didn't care for the comics. And I do not like the sketch edition. I hate Adam. I know I've said before. I hate these repaints. I hate what they're doing.
Yeah,
sketch editions or the Jokerized editions like that.
Yes, click on that Catwoman Batman. What is that? You were just on it.
I figured you could use some help. It looks like just a figure that or shot that someone did that.
Oh, I see what it is. Okay, yeah, all right, fair enough.
But yeah, I'm just not real interested in anything McFarlane's doing right now. And
I am complete.
It's not a quality issue. It's just it's what they're producing. I just don't give a shit. Right now.
There's plenty of villains I need to get for the 66 line.
I was just thinking that I was like, I might just focus on one line, and it's probably going to be the 66 stuff.
And then as far as like, he's releasing single issue characters, not single issue, but he's doing, in his multiverse, he's got a Captain Atom. It's a Target exclusive. That Robin, that Tim Drake Robin that I thought I lost out on, that's going to be in every store. It's not going to be an exclusive. So I got a second bid at that. He's putting out a lot that I want. I just don't want everything that he wants. Yeah. And I certainly don't do movie figures anymore. So I don't do them because they don't fit in with the rest of the universe that I'm trying to build. I'm trying to build a comic book universe. So
yep, nothing wrong with that. And one of the nice things that NECA's doing is one of the things that a lot of fans were really pissed off over was one of the things that came out during the most recent haulathon, and that was the accessory kit. And they actually put that back up, not as a pre-order, as a hey, it's up for 3 weeks. Go get it. So if you're a turtle fan, felt you missed out on the accessory kit with the little turtles, you can go get it. I think it's up for another week and a half or so. But the one thing that they did put up for pre-order was the sewer dio.
Yeah,
at a price
baby.
of $300.
Yeah, it's a lot.
There's the turtles that come with the accessory kit. That's why everybody wanted that accessory kits for these turtles right here. So, which I mean, who can blame them?
Nope.
But it's funny because I'm in a few turtle groups, and the first thing a lot of people do is like, well, guess I'm gonna make me a dio. So there's people like, hey man, if you're gonna build a dio, make sure you don't just build it out of foam, because by the time you put 20 30 pounds worth of figures and accessories, and last thing you want is for your whole thing to freaking fall apart. So that was pretty fun.
Sounds fair. Sounds like a good warning.
I would say and that's one of the things they do actually pretty well. It is a pretty good community of like, hey, don't do this, or hey, this is up for pre-order, or this is out. That's one of the things I do like about the turtle group, and kind of one of the things I didn't like about the McFarlane groups is McFarlane got very bitchy very quick on certain things.
A lot of Facebook groups do. I barely participate. I usually just look at stuff.
I think it's so hard to just have freaking fun with stuff, man. I don't understand.
Yeah.
We're all supposed to be fans and just can't. Just like, maybe that'd be a subject for another day, but
yeah.
All right, Adam, is anything that you're watching, or I said you were watching? What was it?
I'm watching Rizzoli and Isles on a regular basis.
Nice.
Because I love Rizzoli, but let's go with I'm rewatching the Dark Knight trilogy. Batman Begins is just God. I love that movie. Yeah. What else? That's it. That's all I got. Planet Houston. I'm losing my conscience.
All right, let's shut her down.
All right.
I
had a wonderful podcast with you, sir.
Yeah, I want to thank Jerry for coming on and shooting.
Yeah, thank you, Jerry.
Hopefully, we'll see him again shortly. Hopefully, he likes Ahsoka. He'll be the only one, but so far not so good. But yes, want to thank Jerry. If you want to see what we're talking about on the show, go check us out on Instagram and Facebook. And if you have not yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, it'd be greatly appreciated if you would. It helps a lot. And we are on all the major podcast platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, and Google Podcasts. Any final words from my friend?
Love, peace, hair, grease. Watch that shit turn white.
Good night, America.
Good night, Planet Houston.